Welcome to the Appaholics podcast, a weekly show where we sit down and compare two apps and decide what stays and what goes.
This week we're talking about budgeting.
Yep, and today we'll be comparing Emma and Yolt, but before we go on, we need to have a quick catch up. So, Becca, how have you been this week?
I've been okay. I've had better weeks, I must admit. I just had one of those weeks where it felt like every day something went wrong and none of them were like a simple fix. It just was very involved. But I think most things are sorted now and I'm feeling just a little bit better in myself. What about you? How have you been?
I have been good. I've been the same old since the last week. It's my birthday this weekend, so I am kind of excited, kind of not looking forward to it because I will be the big 2-5. But I have been really happy this week because we have launched our social media promo not too long ago, literally 2 days ago.
Yeah, at the time of recording, we're recording in advance, right? That is the right way around. Yeah. And we've just launched all of our socials and released the trailer and everything. And it's going really well. Everyone seems to be loving it. And it's so nice to like actually launch this and people are liking it.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Yeah,
That's one of you.
Thank you everyone. There's so much love. Like our friends, each of our friends have really supported us and posted us on their stories, and that's just been so nice to see. So if you're listening to this, thank you so much.
Big thank you. Yeah. So let's dive into the apps. Based on the Apple App Store at the time of recording, Emma is ranked number 40 in finance. Yolt is number 18. Both have a very good star rating. Emma is slightly ahead with 4.7 out of 5. Yolt has 4.5 out of 5. I said they were both free. They are. But Emma does also have a paid version. But you can have a free 7-day free trial. I said free a lot there. Wow. You can have a free trial for 7 days and then pay $59.99 a year, which seems quite a lot, but it works about $5 a month. So, Daffy, do you use a budgeting app in your day-to-day?
I do, but not religiously. It's just there if I need it. What about you?
Really? Okay, so I feel like I check mine obsessively.
The complete opposite.
Yeah, I used to be so bad with my money and just spend it on clothes. And about 2 years ago, I sort of had to sit down with myself and was like, you need to sort this out and actually start saving some money. That was the worst bit for me. I just used to be the kind of person where when it gets to like a week before payday, I'd be skint and I'd go, I'll just take 50 quid out of my savings. I'll just take another 50 quid out. And then it's like, yeah, 50 quid's actually quite a lot when you do that every month. I now check mine obsessively to keep myself in check because, I would like to save some money.
I also would like to. I just can't bring myself to check it every day. I feel like this episode is going to inspire me to really get into budgeting just like you and really get a handle on it.
I would love that. I felt really torn then. I was going to say, I would love that. And I really enjoy checking them, like the app that I use, which will soon be revealed. I really enjoy checking it regularly. Sometimes I do wonder if I get too obsessed with looking at it. Like my boyfriend sometimes says that like I'm worrying too much about breaking everything into specific budgets. But I just like it. It just seems to be how my brain works. And just FYI, in the last 2 years, when I had that like little chat with myself, have actually managed to save some money rather than spending it all on clothes or the pub. So
Oh, that's good.
It's working.
That's good.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to what each app's values are and what their missions are?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Do you want to talk about Yolt?
Yes. So Yolt's mission is to give everyone the power to be smart with their money. They say, you have the power, Yolt has the tools. I feel like they really take that quite seriously because the Yolt app gives you a lot of control in how you can control your budgets and your spending habits. So yeah, we'll get onto that in a bit. But on face value, I feel like they really have hit the nail on the head.
I love that. Growing up, I was never at school given this awareness of like how to manage my money at all, which I think is why when I first started earning money, I would spend it so like recklessly. So giving the power to everyone to be smart with their money is so important. I really like their mission.
What about Emma?
So theirs is, they believe anyone deserves a financial advocate to help with money management and budgeting, someone who watches our back no matter who we are and where we come from. We think we can provide a great experience which relies on a basic principle, caring about our customers' financial well-being. This is who we are and what we stand for. Money can be, and budgeting, be very, very stressful for people. So I think both of these apps are providing a way to take, to remove some of that stress and make it easy to manage your finances.
Yeah. And Emma, they have a really informal approach, don't they, to your finance, and they try and be quite funny with it all. And so that makes looking after your finances a good thing rather than something that can be really stressful.
They do. Emma's whole app and interface is very, very informal. You open it, it's very bright and colourful. It feels fun. You don't open it and think, oh, I'm here to manage my money. You're like, oh, okay, what messages is it going to tell me today? It's very humorous. It's like says hello. It gives you like a little weather update, because why not? But you get notifications depending on how your spending is going, and if you've gone over budget or if you're under budget. I particularly like it when I get a message like that. Unfortunately, it's quite rare. But they give you a weekly report which looks at things like what day you've spent the most, what category you've spent the most in. They give you these fun equivalents. So like an example I saw on mine recently was I spent £30 on transport, which is the same as buying 34 tins of tuna. I've seen examples in the past where it like talks about the number of burgers I could have bought for however much, They also talk about what your favourite place to spend money is, where you didn't spend money. My story the other day was celebrating the fact I hadn't spent money at Just Eat for once, which is where I've been spending a lot of money over the last year. Lockdown, woo! And it gives you fun facts, like compares your spending to other users who use Emma. Obviously they use Emma, that's why they're another user. But like an example was apparently I spend 89.86% more than other users on entertainment. Now, I don't know if I completely believe that, because I'm not spending that much on entertainment, but apparently I spend a lot. But they just make it fun, and it's in a story format, and I'll go more into this later about why I like it specifically. But what are your thoughts on that?
I have Yolt right now. I don't have Emma. And so to hear you talk about Emma's approach to finance, I do actually like it, and you're sort of swaying me towards Emma because it does see money as something that isn't serious. And what you said about the tuna cans, whatever, it's like pointless information, but it sort of puts it into perspective at the same time. Whereas with Yolt, their approach to money, yes, it gives you that control, like they say in their mission statement. You have the power, Yolt has the tools. I get all of that, but their approach to money is quite serious and very sleek, and there is definitely a real contrast, and we'll get onto that in a bit. There are quite a few similarities between Emma and Yolt, so you can connect your accounts and they will all show up in one place. You can also connect loads of other things. I'm not sure if Emma does this, but you can also connect your credit cards, investments, and your pensions as well. Is that something that Emma does?
Yes, it is.
You can set, track, and control your budgets, and you can get notifications for any upcoming bills and subscriptions like you would also get with Emma. And you also get to see what brands and shops you spend the most at. So unlike Emma that gives you like a humorous notification, Yolt just says, all right, mate, you've just spent 50 quid at Argos. It's very straight to the point. I think the main difference is their approach to money. One's very serious and one's very playful and colourful and doesn't take money as like a serious thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I would really agree. I feel like, so I've used both Yolt and Emma, and I feel like Yolt is the grown-up budgeting app. Emma is your fun, young money buddy who's going to tell you, like, you've just spent 30 quid in the pub, Becca. You've gone over budget now. What are you doing? And it kind of feels, I don't know, you could class this as like a bit of a bad thing in a way, but even when I've overspent, it tells me in a light-hearted enough manner that I don't panic, but I am aware. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to rein it in a little bit this month. I need to stop buying clothes, don't make all these impulse purchases. When I use Yolt, I feel like because it is so matter of fact, like black and white and quite serious, it kind of, although it's just telling me the same information, of course, it makes me worry a bit more.
Yeah, the last thing that you want to see after a massive bender is seeing you've just spent 60 quid on Uber. I would rather see that in a more light-hearted way and say, I know that Emma shows you gifts as well, right? You've showed me that before.
Yeah, it does. So part of the weekly report, they use a combination of, so the short, funny, kind of pointless facts about tins of tuna or numbers of burgers. Then they sometimes show graphs. So for example, the day of the week, just a bar chart with whatever one you've spent the most on. So that's very easy to notice, like when we're allowed to go out a little bit more. If you've had a sesh, Friday or Saturday often look quite high for me. And then sometimes, they'll use gifts. So if you've got paid during that week and your salary comes in, it will tell you you've earned or you've had this much money come in, and we'll have like a rolling in money gif. Really, really funny ones. And that's the kind of thing I like. I'm like, yeah, I did just earn that money. Like, and I do feel like that, am I going to spend it? Yes. But am I going to feel like the richest girl on earth for a few days? Yes, I am. And I, want to send that gift everywhere. Something worth mentioning as well, I personally feel like Emma is marketed towards a younger audience. By no means am I saying that it's limited in that way, but I feel like Emma is very, very social. The use of gifts, the use of the bright colours, and also during these weekly reports, each one has a share button, so you can screenshot it and share it, and it's like, show your mates that you spent this much down the pub.
I do remember the times when we used to be able to go out where you would put screenshots of your spending after a sesh in our group chat with our other friends as well. And they used to be like a focus of conversation back then, and we used to laugh about it so much. The amount we spent on Uber one night was atrocious, but the way Emma
oh my God,
said that to Becca was just, it was more like in a funny sort of condescending way almost.
You've hit the nail on the head. Some of the messages are they're really muggy, like they're mugging you off. I've got, this person will know who they are. We quite often, not so much now to be fair because we're not spending any money, but would like each weekly report send screenshots of the muggiest messages, like, is Emma mugging us off again? Like, are they taking the piss? Are you serious? And I like that as well, because it's like, you know what, we did go out on a sesh and we did get ridiculously drunk and spend way too much money on Uber, but it's all right. I mean, wish that we walked, but it's giving you that level of awareness without making you think, oh my God, like, let me know how you feel about this, Daffy, but I get very worried about money, and maybe I'm sat here just making a joke of it, but it's very easy for me to go down a downward spiral and be like, oh, am I saving enough for the future? Or should I be allocating more money towards this? Or should I cut down on this? I like the fact that Emma ramps up the humour, basically.
Yeah, I agree with you. I worry about money a lot. The way I deal with my anxiety with money is by not dealing with it. So that's why I don't go on budgeting apps, because I don't want it to stress me out as much. This is why I feel like I do need to get Emma, because Yolt is so black and white, whereas Emma can convey the same message but in a more light-hearted way that I know that I can read that and be like, oh yeah, that was bad, but well, it is what it is,
Yeah, completely. I feel like as well, because it pulls you in, because you're like, oh, you're giving me a sarky comment. Like, okay, let me open this notification and see like the full story. Kind of makes me want to open it because of that. The amount of emoji Emma uses throughout their messaging within the app and in the notifications, I love. Because sometimes it's just the use of emoji. Like, they'll just make a simple comment, like, that could be nothing particular about it, but then the emoji, it's like a little smug emoji or a little winky face or a little sad face. I'm like, oh no, I've upset the app. You know?
Yeah.
It makes me pay attention in that way. But I completely relate. I do the same with other things. I will ignore them because I'm like, nope, I can't. That worries me too much. I'm just going to pretend it's not, like, just not think about it today.
Shall we have a chat about the other features that are available for each app?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, for Yolt, other stuff that I haven't mentioned is that it also has a story feature just like Emma. So, on the story, it has different insights, and that says the top spending categories, the top brands, or the shops that you spent the most money at that week, and the overall cash flow, which is a nice simple bar chart of your income versus your outgoing. So, it's a really nice, quick, modern way of seeing everything in a clear snapshot way. There's also something to mention about the interface. Although it is very black and white and quite serious with its notifications and the messages that it pops up with, it is really simple and modern. I know with Emma there's a lot of colour and, you know, stuff going on, but with Yolt it's very toned down, it's not too cluttered, and at the same time it does have an option to customise the screen that it opens up with. You can also set budgets for loads of spending categories like gifts, kids, lunch, even one for coffee as well, and eating out. When you go on the spending category option to set a budget, it tells you there and then, before you even set yourself a target, it tells you there and then how much you already spend, so you have a clear, realistic idea of how much you can cut costs for each category.
That's really cool. I like that. Emma has very, very similar. In each of their categories, they have like an average amount based on your recent spending, so you can get a good idea that way as well. I think Emma has slightly fewer categories that come in the free version, but I believe one of the paid features is that you can create custom categories. So that's something to bear in mind. You can see all your accounts in one place, track your spending, notice any wasteful subscriptions or ones that you've forgotten about. You can cancel them. Set your budget, track paydays, avoid overdraft fees, plan debt repayments, save money. So both the apps have this, I think. If you have, say, your energy bill, they've got options within the app so you can compare deals, so you can save some cash that way. The information within the app is secure, so it uses encryption, and Emma specifically states that it doesn't store your online banking credentials, so you can have peace of mind there. And cashback offers, which I believe, I could be wrong, but in Emma are a fairly recent thing, so that's another way to make a little bit of money from your shopping that you're already doing.
Oh, cool. I can see there's already a lot of similarities between the two, because I forgot to mention Yolt also has the encryption as well as Face ID and a 5-number PIN. One of their missions as well is they say that security is their number one priority. So they state that they have bank level data security measures, which means that your information is guarded and protected. So you know that any information that you put in the app, it's safe. It's not going anywhere. Also, what you said about the recommendations, right, to cut costs. Yolt has options where you can cut down on home insurance, travel insurance, phone and car insurance, and it also has services where you can grow your savings and combine your pensions and invest your money, and that's through external platforms, but it can be accessed through the Yolt app.
Nice. Yeah, I think both apps are very, very similar in what they actually offer, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just how they present that information to you.
One thing that was really cool that we haven't mentioned yet was the scramble feature for Emma and the stealth mode for Yolt, right?
Oh my god. Yes. I love it. So, the scramble feature in Emma is a button you can press in the settings which scrambles all of your balances. So, everywhere where a balance is being displayed within the app, any kind of cost or money is scrambled into this made up currency. So you can then get your phone out, go on the app, scramble your data and show your mates and be like, hey, look at this great app, look how it works, show them, and have no fear about any judgment on, oh, I've only got £5 in my account because I'm skint right now, but nobody will know because it's a made up currency. I love this. And I think I have like a vague memory of me actually doing this in the pub once, maybe with work people, and being like, oh my God, look guys. And they were like, oh, this is cool. But I love that. And I feel like it ties, definitely when we're looking at Emma, it shows how they're quite a social app. You know, money doesn't need to be this taboo subject that is brushed under the carpet and we don't talk about. It's like, share the fun moments from your weekly report, show people the app. Also, it's a great marketing technique, you know, because it means you've got nothing to hide, so you can show your friends. Do you want us to talk about the stealth mode in Yolt?
Yeah, so the stealth mode is pretty much the same as the scramble mode in Emma. It scrambles all of your balances into the most random numbers so that you can show your friends and show off the app without them knowing how poor you are. I'm joking. But yeah, it encourages you to share the app just like you would with Emma, and you can do that comfortably. And I know with friends you can be really close, but money can be a thing that you don't actually want to be open about, right? So it gives I love that it gives you that option.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel about talking about money? Do you feel weird about it, or are you okay?
I do talk about money quite openly, but showing balances, showing my actual expenses to the number, that's quite scary. How about you?
I'd say I'm very similar. Growing up, like, and at school and stuff, that lack of like education on how to manage your money has given me this slight fear of talking about money, because I feel like unless we talk about it, you've never really got a proper grasp on like, well, what is the normal amount you're meant to spend on X, you know? And I feel like that can be sometimes challenging. And then things like, I mean, we could dive into this maybe another time, but like your salary and things like that, like on paper, I don't have a problem talking about, and I think we should, but I do struggle. But yeah, in terms of like expenses and how much I have in savings and stuff, I'm like, it's not really anybody's business.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a good point that you made about us not being taught this in school, because you, as you grow up, you learn a lot of things about adulthood and expenses in adulthood as you actually grow up and do the things, you know, like moving out, getting a car. That's when you find out about costs and everything. And yeah, we should have been told more about that when we were at school, so we can be more prepared.
Definitely. I feel like, let me know if you're the same, but like when I got my first full-time job, it was such a sort of shock to the system I suddenly have money, which like I've worked for this, I've earned this, what do I do with it? And then it took a good few years before I was like, maybe, you know, I shouldn't just spend it all each month. I should save this much. I should do this. And I wish that something set you up in school and be like, when the time comes and you have money coming in the bank, this is how you should manage it. And these are some steps that you can put in place to make sure that you're going to be setting yourself up to be in a good position and to, like, learn to save, and it not to be this mammoth task you have to like teach yourself. I've got some fun things I haven't mentioned actually about Emma. Some more fun things. One of the ways that they sort of gamify saving money and budgeting is a weekly quiz they have. And if any of you remember, a couple of years ago, there was a huge trend for an app called HQ Trivia, where every day, I think there were like 2 quizzes a day, you could go on, and there were like people all around the world joining in with this quiz, multiple choice, very fast paced. As soon as you got an answer wrong, you were out. And Emma has kind of copied this format. So every weekend, I believe it is, have a different theme, have some multiple choice questions. If you get it wrong, you're out. If you get it right, then you're entered into you're in with a chance of winning some money, which is quite fun, because why not? Free money, you know? Obviously, you're not guaranteed to win every time, but it's just another thing that's like, oh yeah, I'll log on. And then they've got you, they've hooked you into the app. So then you have a look at everything else and see how things are going. You
know, the more you talk about Emma, the more I want to leave Yolt. only because it is so serious, and Yolt reminds me of like a strict teacher, whereas Emma is like, I don't know,
it's fun,
a best friend.
Yeah,
it is different levels.
To me, I hate life admin with a passion. I just will procrastinate and not do it. Emma, because of everything we've said, does make me actually pay attention. Obviously, it's down to me to do the work and to decide not to buy another new coat when I really don't need one. But because the app is so fun, it's not like, I need to go in and do my finances, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, this is fine. This is all right. This is like a safe space for my brain to look. Do you have anything you don't like that you've not enjoyed about either of the apps?
I know with Yolt, it's such a small thing. I know when we were doing our research, I was struggling to find things that could be improved. But now, having had a proper conversation about it, I wish Yolt did have a more relaxed approach to money and they conveyed that a little bit more. But I guess that's just who they are, so I can't really suggest any ways of them changing. The only thing that I would say, appearance-wise, they could have a dark mode. I like having my apps on dark mode. Could really do with that option, I feel like. You also can't add your own spending category. It has a load of spending categories like the ones I mentioned earlier, but for those instances where you have a category that the app doesn't have, you're not able to add your own and rename it and set a budget for it. This is something that you mentioned, right? So the spending graph that they have on their homepage that opens up.
Yeah.
So the spending graph that's on the homepage, it tells you how much you spent in the last month and whether you spent more or less in the month that you're in now. And that's good. When you first look at it, it does make sense. But when you tap on the graph, it comes up with a whole list of transactions and doesn't actually let you know or even break down what categories you spent less in, what categories you spent more in.
Emma's very good. It's a very, very visual platform. So you can dive into any of the accounts that you have connected or any of the budgets and bring up a graph by like the last week, the last 3 months, last 6 months, which makes it very, very easy to pinpoint. Oh, okay, looks like I saved a lot more that month, or wow, did I go on holiday then? I spent loads. And visually, super easy to have a glance at and know where you are. And this is quite minor, but I have various different subscriptions going out, and sometimes the app gets a bit confused. What's an example? So say I have an Amazon Prime subscription and it recognizes that I have a monthly Amazon outgoing. However, then sometimes when I buy something from Amazon, like an ebook or a sock organizer like I did last week, it sometimes gets those muddled and thinks that they are another subscription or that the subscription has changed price. You can go in and manually change this, like give them different tags and say, no, this is not a subscription, this is. But that's a bit of like admin I've noticed over the last few months, which is, it's a minor inconvenience. It's really not a big deal, but I'm like, oh, I wish I could say like, if it is this amount, then it's a subscription. If it's not that, then it's just me buying something else from the same service provider, you know?
Yeah. So do you think that there's anything else that Emma could improve on?
I guess the only thing I would have to add is that they do have this paid subscription tier to the app, which you definitely don't need. If you do opt for that, then you do get the option to customize categories, rename transactions, export your data into Excel, create manual accounts. So if you have an account somewhere that's not one of the current listed that you could add, you could have it there. Split up your transactions between different categories. I actually didn't know that Yolt didn't have a paid tier, and now I'm like, would I prefer that freedom? Which are quite minor things, but like a custom category for stuff or splitting transactions. Because sometimes if you do a big shop like in Sainsbury's, some of that might be your food, but you might pick up like some hair dye that you might want to pop into like a personal care category or something, you know? So again, just a minor thing. Anything else your end?
No, I think the only thing, in conclusion, is I feel that Yolt needs to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
But then that's what they are. Like you said earlier, it is very grown up and they are quite serious about money, and if that's their approach to money, then that's what it is. And so if you do prefer a more relaxed approach to money, then by all means, I think Emma is definitely the app for you.
Yes. I will add as well, this just came to me just now, both apps, when you're connecting your accounts, make the process very, very easy and not difficult. I know sometimes when I've spoken to people about this, they're like, oh, that's so much effort to set up. I don't want to faff around with that. I'm like, no, really, it's not difficult at all. They walk you through the process and it takes literally less than 5 minutes to do. So that's worth noting as well. They're both really good on that front. So you can connect all your accounts, know how much money you've got or not got. whatever.
All right, so I think we've really delved deep into both apps, right?
Yes,
And so,
I think so.
yeah, I hope you have a clear idea on what each app offers, and let us know if you have Emma and Yolt, and whether after listening to the episode you feel like you want to stick to the app that you have, or whether you are swayed to the opposite. Let us know.
Yeah. If you had to pick one, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, God.
Because I know you're kind of in the middle. Which one would stay and which would go?
Okay, after this conversation, I am going to say I'm going to kick Yolt out the way, and I feel that it's all about Emma now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You're sticking with Emma, aren't you?
Hell yeah. When I first decided I needed to get, when I decided I needed to manage my money better, I got both. Kind of gave them about a month each, like enough to see what happens when I get paid and like what my normal spending habits are. And it really just came down to the interface of Emma for me, and the kind of the light-hearted approach that they give. I don't have any problem with how Yolt works or the data it shows me, and maybe one day when I'm a grown-up, I am a grown-up, that's depressing, I would change over to Yolt if I suddenly felt like Emma was like too much fun, but that seems ridiculous. I don't even know what I'm saying, to be honest, but it's Emma for me. I'm going to delete Yolt.
So what we're saying is Emma stays and Yolt goes.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
I'm glad we've come to a mutual conclusion.
Nice. Good.
All right, so remember to subscribe on your favourite platform, and please make sure to give us a review because we'd love to know what you think and if you'd like any future episodes about specific apps.
Yes, and of course follow us on socials. So on Twitter we are at Appaholics_pod. On Instagram we are at the Appaholics pod, and you can let us know there as well if you've got any suggestions, any feedback. Tell us which budgeting app you would have picked. There's me and you on social too. Daffy, do you want to share your handle?
Yes, so on both Twitter and Instagram I am at Daffy Shan.
And I am at BECCA Social on all the socials, all of them, every single one.
Every single one.
Hell yeah. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We will see you next week.
Bye.